Oh, where you watch, look where you watch, know where you watch. Choose the right thing to watch. And this enough to watch. Sticky Stucky Sweet TV with Keith Gag on Facebook and YouTube. And that enough to watch. The movie star fly take off from Palpatine TV so that. Boom!
A big sound, a big tune.
Ja holy Emmanuel I boy. Ja Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. Well, Gideon go busting out them head again. So much oppression poor people face right now. Them crying out for freedom. Them crying out for free speech. Then said them want to stand up like them black liberators, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther and the ancient monarchy where come pave the way, sir. Free up black people from tear down them fence, yeah. Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon, well, the Gideon go busting out them head. I listen, I see, I the power of the Trinity. Give us the teaching of His Majesty, and we know war, not every...
Blue, Mr. Gargan, blue. Blue till me dance up me toe.
Woman, you sexy from your born. Walkie, woman. You born sexy. You sexy from your born. Spin your roll, make them see the bumper. And no dumper. Walkie, woman. Woman, you sexy from your born. Walkie, woman. Me like how you walk. You just a walkie. And a talkie up. You back it up, cock it up, fling it up, ice it up. The thing pretty and buffy. Walkie, woman. You know sucky. You like when me shooby up. Walkie, woman. Me like when you sweaty and wetty. Just like when rain a fall off of your body like a raindrop. Walkie, woman. Me like when you wake up and you put on your makeup. Then you say you want to brace up, not tears up, make me feel up. Then we kiss up, and the lips, that and the split up. Yo, walkie, woman. Me like how you walk. You just a walkie, and a talkie up. Yo, the thing pretty and buffy. You know flappy, or sappy. Your skin smooth like a young baby body. That's why them a watchy, and a chatty. Woman, you sexy from walkie. Yo, me like when you wake up and you put on your makeup. Then you say you want come brace up. Yo, make me kiss up, woman. You sexy from your and the lips, not on the split up. Yo, walkie. You just a walkie, woman. Me like how you walk. Woman, you sexy from your band. You like when me draw the long gun and me stick you up. Walkie, just a pinty up. Way, walkie. Woman, you sexy from your band. 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 Up and running, up and gunning. Like I try to fix something here. When I'm going further. What is I say? Do that. Resume. Fuck, yeah. Why this fucking thinking? That's supposed to be, anyway. We're up and running, up and gunning. Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, whatever you want to call it. Because it's morning for some, afternoon for some, and we have in the evening for some as well. Because the world is intertwined, you know. So that's how we see it. So we're there, so we give thanks and praises to the Most High God that liveth and reigneth in the heart of man. In a matter of facts, we touch with Psalms, because we have to do that, you know. God are the greatest, so we know so well then who no wake up and say them prayers, I read a Psalms, I say them grace before them name them food. Sorry for them. God, dog, name no bomb whole supper. Yo, we're going to the Psalms, yeah. Deliver me from my enemy, my God. Set me an eye from those who rise up against me. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity. Save me from the bloodthirsty men. For behold, they lie and wait for my soul. The mighty gather themselves together against me, not for my disobedience, not for my sin, Lord. I have done no wrong, yet they are ready to attack me. Rise up, behold, and help me. You, Lord God of armor, the God of Israel, rouse yourself to punish the nation. Show no mercy to the wicked, traitor, sealer. They return at evening, holding like dogs, and prowl around the city. Behold, they spat with their mouth, so they are in their lips, for they say, Who art us? But you, Lord, laugh at them, you scrub for all the nation. O my strength, I wish for you, for God is my high tower. My God will go before me with his loving kindness. God will let me look at my enemy in triumph. Don't kill them, or my people may forget. Scatter them by their power, and bring them down, Lord, our shield. For the sin of their mouth and the words of their lips, let they be catched in their pride. For the curses and lie which they utter, consume them in wrath, consume them, and they will be no more. Let them know that God rules in Jacob to the ends of the earth. Selah. At evening let them return, let them howl like a dog, and go around the city. They shall wander up and down for food, and wait all night, if they ain't satisfied. But I will sing of your strength, yes, I will sing aloud of your loving kindness in the morning, for you have been my high tower, a refuge in the day of my distress. To you, my strength, I will sing praises, for God is my high tower, the God of my mercy, Selah. Yes, 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 Selah. That we say, you know, Selah, Selah. Yeah. So anyway, Selah, the reason why this Psalms 56 is really important to me is because when I say I go on in a Jamaica, pure wobia, all in a high place, big place, right at the government, right at the government. We see police and lock up people to preach. We see the government, I walk with wobia man. Don't they have to really laugh, you know, that Jamaica gone too. So anyway, we have to just try the right way. Well, the topic this morning now, as me I say, some people and some of the labor right voters, them, they don't read or go back and check out the archives and things like that and know what go on because they just come up and think say the world build up like that. How them come see it. Then I know say it have a history. History is very important, you know, to people. Yeah, man. And you can go back. That's how we do them things, you know. Or till we come back in a history, you know. Believe you me. Yeah, man. Because peer slackness, government has support Wobia, I want to legalize Wobia. Then I have no problem with that. And when somebody I preach the word of God, whether them mean it or not, it's still the word of God. Jamaica have the most fucking churches in square mile in the world. And this we gone to a government a support Wobiaism. Yeah, man. So I don't understand. But anyway, we are talking about the true wicked dictator of the Philippines. Them thing that them thing that I'm look at documentary. I'm read about them things there. I know so well then these are the things where Andrew Holness, a copy, and a look on. I know so them because you know the reason I'm gonna say that, because look, let's say something, you know, come on, just say something and bring something to show people really say, well, look, sometimes, you know, other people, you know, if you listen and you learn, you will fucking have some common sense and know, not nonsense. Yeah. So, because Pierre, hold on there. Let's see this. Let's see this. Lawrence wrote this. Anyway, we go back to this in a minute. I want to find this, wait there. If we go back in my WhatsApp, Go back to my WhatsApp and see. Marcus. Ooh. Come like when I do something, I like to try to bring the reality and the facts to a good understanding, you know. So I try to find something here. Very important. Come I show what people do. And that is a history. We know so well and it can come back again. It happened all the while. And you know what I mean? It's not like so well and this is a joke business. Try to find this picture. Come on, man.
Your politics, you'll know that there are some Sinandro seats which have been.
Come on. We want a special photograph. Do I upload it or not? I think so. Hold on. No, I never upload it, you know. I never think I did upload it. Like I looks properly still. Sometimes things that you're supposed to do, you know, do it. You get fucking so annoying to you. Sure. Mm. Yeah, we're talking about the dictator, Marcos, and his wife from the Philippines. And that them started from 1965. Mm. From 1965. This picture is very important to find, you know. But I don't think I did upload it at all for some reason. And it's a shame, because that is to prove my point. But anyway, we can find it back and present it. Yeah, find it back and present it. I never think I did at all. Bear with me, people. Bear with me. Come like to get the thing what me I talk about. Look like it really match up to what you say. People can have a more understanding, right? And we are talking about the Marcos, you know, in the Philippines. Yeah? The Marcos in the Philippines. Uh, I don't think, no. The Marcos in the Philippines. Anyway, me I look at a picture. Let's see for that one. No. Now I make that style anyway. We are talking about Marcos. Anyway, I drink some green tea, hot green tea, that get cold and all, with some coconut milk. Yeah, man. And half a spoon, a teaspoon of sugar. Coconut milk, very nice. Yeah, man. Properly. Green tea. Yes, so back to the Marcos now. Marcos, our really brother, was a crucial dictator, tyrant, and deal with them people them some way. Because people go back in our history, it's there, you know. It's there. Everything in our history there, people can go look it up. Special for social media now, WikiLeaks and these things. It's there, man. You draw them up, you get them. You can read about what's going on. The same thing, you know. The Philippine people, them. So I tell you, you know, them tell you look at youth and you hear them thing about world news. That's why I'm saying me is a man from I grew up as a youth, from 10, 11. I'm interested in world news, BBC. Them time we are listening on radio, little radio. We just hear them BBC. Yeah, I'm tell you something. It was so, that's why I'm so inclined to politics or anything to do with them things there. So the Philippine people, them, there was living off of the dump. And the dump there, bigger than Riverton City, you know. Dump. People them like a picture them, some of them don't have no shoes on. Actually, naked. And live off of the dump in the Philippines. Right? People poor. So the comparance of with Jamaica, me a talk about, you know. Right? Because a lot of people live off of the dump at Riverton, but that the dump, the size of Philippines is like an island, right? And people make a living off of it somehow or the other. Somehow or the other, they make a living off of that. Dump, when people dump, they find things, and them live in a shacks and them things there. The life of them people, if you look how sure them live, is we call it is deplorable. Is deplorable. That's all we can say. And meanwhile, Marcus and his wife are live as king and queen. With the much pair of shoes that woman have. The much pair of shoes. Much pair of shoes that woman have. May I tell you, say like, boy, may I tell you, it's like you can open a store. Yeah. You can open a store. From headphone, God. There's no sound from headphone. What's fucking happening? This is a blood sound from headphone. No sound from headphone. Why? No sound. Just a little bit more. That's it again. You have to keep on. Keep on turning these knobs. So anyway, Marcus and his wife and them kids, them I live the biggest life in a biggest palace. If you have shoes where she have, you can open a store and then people are walking up barefoot and dumb, right? And the reason I play this is because I see it the same way Jamaica head, you know. And enough of them people have vote. If them not using common sense. If them was using them common sense, right? And do some reading. We can't read, we can't look on documentary. There's nothing to find documentary on them things. But they're not interested. Then some of them don't realize their country in Philippines anyway. It's how dark them is, you know. And the truth. Some Jamaican don't know the country exists in Philippines less much to know what's going on there. So that's how dark them is. And that's the facts. Where the truth is the truth. Because there are some dark people in Jamaica still, you know. And those are the people where the GLP, them like the sheriff, because them can hold them and know so them give them £5,000 and some a rum and things like that, and them say yes boss. They will get them. They will get them. So that's why they want to keep them down. They don't trust in education. That's why they get rid of things like Jamal, who was helping a lot of people. So just check the speed, you know. That me I talk about. So the people oppress the people, oppress the people. And eventually, people rebel. Rebel, you know, people rebel. And flee. They have to flee Philippines, go to America and Hawaii. And the reason why America accept them. The reason why America accept them is because Marcus and his wife, what them do, they never really had a team. America never really have none for them. You see, them are a team from America. You can't mess around with American dollars. Once that involved, I'm gonna draw you in. But what Marcus do, America was benefit from the source and the riches of the Philippines. And the people never get none. So once America happy, once America happy, then anything happen to these people, these president, they have a place in America so them can run go. But not so with Andrew Holness. That's why Andrew Holness have a house. So when have a house in one of them Caribbean place there, property. The man have somebody like him set himself and know what go happen, Because I'm not sure so then no dictator last forever. They must get tackled. Andrew Holness time a come. Because now just throw him a dictator from before 2016, but from the win election 2016, he's a dictator that him preach. And that's a theme thing. So that's why him call election a COVID. And the dictator do the things there. So from them time a dictator, from day one. From the ass come out of the box, he's a dictator. Andrew Holness. So what happened to Marcus? The people them turn against him eventually. He have to run like a rascal, a thief in the night. But lucky for him, he couldn't end up in America. Because, as I said before, America never have nothing upon him, but Andrew Holness, the money will come to Andrew Holness and from America. And them know that. Him do nothing with the money. The Democrat give him a lot of money. Kamala Harris, right? To make up youth center. Where the fucking center is. He get a lot of COVID money. He get them always get the grants from US, Then I go go around again and go thief out the charity money, which is American based fucking things. He was just a man for just deal with it as the Prime Minister. And he used it and invest in a thing one way. So America can have him eyes on it. So he know that, He know that, so when time come, he cannot run go to America. He's gonna run in a fire. Yeah, man, gonna run a fire. Every try to do that. He's gonna run a fucking fire. And there's no joke about that. So people can think so well then, man, I'm gonna run a fire. Hot fire as well. Hot fire as well. So me just think so well Andrew Holness. See, I'm gonna never get to really bring out him. Him started as a dictator, See, I'm going and try to mash up man with socialism, right? Well, socialism wasn't a communist. It just really make people live better. But they want to deal with the capitalism. So, see, I go come in the dictatorship. Andrew Holness was there around him as a young man. So, man, they mash up the plan. As a smart man. So, Andrew come now. I'm trying to carry out that whenever happen. And him doing good so far. Him doing good so far. Because everything him get away with, everything him can do and pass, there's so much things this guy do. And now him young kid are dead. Innocently. And nobody now resign for them things there. Them not talk about it. And it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad at the moment. Them not talking nothing about it. Nobody no come out and say nothing. They want that to just lock down. After the young youth losing life like that. Them have pitney, them have son, them have daughter. But them not care. Once of them that's how to see how them are like these people who are run behind them. Because one of them kill, Man, what they kill, what the man in the air like that. And you say, well, then, nothing, you can search him or whatever. And then I try to murder him and tell a lie. So I have to give thanks to camera, And that is a big brother, We love cameraman. So they have camera, they eat the camera as well. Everybody can see. You understand? Yeah. Because the really struggle is really dread out there. The poor people, Just for poor people, nobody else. Just for poor people. It's wicked and dread out there. Not for them people. Because poor people fit are dead. When poor people sick, them in the hospital to go because them go in the hospital and come out. Boy, them are the luckiest person to me see it. And there's nothing in the poor public hospital like KPH. That's a public hospital, you know. It's a public hospital different from freedom hospital. Freedom hospital a private hospital. When you say private, you mean you must get good treatment. 'Cause you can't afford it. Poor people can't afford to get a yeah. Poor people can't afford to get nothing at all. Now we can't take no call now because I'm doing something. Please. Anytime you do a live, you know, man. Sure. Sure, man. Anytime you do a live, you know. Sure. A lot of people get out of my fucking trap, you know. Sure. Let me get on this squeak it, man. They can't answer call when I'm doing a live. I'm a call for the system. I'm a break the thing right now. Anyway, we'll go back to the argument. What made it? Yeah, the people may lose them in the again. Because what made it again? Sure. It's not like it. I like come off my stripe, you know, when I dip on a stripe, you know. Yeah. I like the when I dip on a stripe. I like it at all. Anyway, we are talking about Marcus. We are talking about poor people in the hospital. The hospital is not, there's no hospital here for poor people. So this is the thing I'm trying to say. Jamaica going another way, you know. Because I have talked about the 70s, public hospital was very, very, very clean and nice and good. And you get free medication. When you go to public hospital in the 70s, you know. And then I get more clinic too. Visible at your eye. There's some clinic there about. You know, clinic on Sliping Road. We have clinic at Alexander Road. We have clinic all about Jamaica in a town and country. So you got different type of thing. You go to hospital and doctor subscribe any medicine. You never have to pay medicine, you know. You get the medicine right there. You have the chemistry in the hospital. You get the thing them and them thing, you get the pill or whatever. More they used to get a liquid medicine, you know, in a bottle, which was very good, you know. All people remember them things there, you know. You get tablet and pills, yes. But you also get liquid medicine. So you drink by teaspoon or tablespoon. And them things they used to work. Proper medicine. Liquid medicine and both tablet and pill. Capsule. Jamaica used to have everything. Everything. And you get it free. You know if you have to buy it. You buy certain things at the chemist, yes. But once you go to the hospital, a public person, and them look after you and then you know the medicine where you supposed to subscribe to you. You're gonna get it and get it right there in the hospital. Yeah, man. Get it right. Got the clinic, got the same damn thing. No one remember that, don't know that. But then come and jump up like fool. Yeah. I'm saying the back of the Jamaica. So we are talking about now with the Marcus dictatorship in the early days there. All the people have suffer and go through some really agony. And the young kids them, we see them on the dumb people, naked, like a girl and like a boy. But me I tell you, you know, Marcus, take the people them down the road there. And when they come and promise them what we do good, just to get in. Just like what Holness do, you know. Just like what Holness do. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about the video. Let's go play. Yeah, man, let's play the video and dissect it through. And that's all it is. Because the video will speak for itself, yeah, man.
It was totally divisive, and it hurt the community a lot.
They knew how to manipulate the system.
It is very good that we had the Filipino people supporting them here. Otherwise, I do not know what would have happened to them.
Exile in Hawaii has been less paradise than purgatory for the Marcoses.
We are barely surviving here.
She's excellent at playing the victim.
This is so cruel, so inhuman, and so immoral.
There's a little bit of Imelda in all of us.
When they went to my closet, not skeletons, but shoes.
For 2 decades, the duo of Ferdinand and Imelda Marcos dominated the Philippines. Ferdinand Marcos was a young, charismatic politician, his wife a beauty queen, when they rose to power in 1965.
A political dynasty, now more remembered for lavish spending than triumphs. Ferdinand and Imelda are accused of pillaging up to $10 billion from the Philippines people. Imelda, known as the Iron Butterfly, would become a notorious jet-setting socialite and fashion icon, amassing hundreds of millions in jewels, fine art, real estate.
Anyway, we
And
just
the infamous stash.
look at shoes, people. Look at shoes. You can open a store. This is where the people them rob the people them money and people upon the little poor people put them in, you know. And that's why I play the video though, because I try to really compare what I want Jamaica. Right? The people now go to school. Let the Philippines grow up to a lot of them were uneducated, you know. And this a brother, you know. I just not going to tell you, you know. The shoes over this one I have. Some of them are weird. You can't open a store and the people that say walk can't even afford a rascal rubber slippers. Right? Same thing I go to Jamaica. And them rascal people run behind them people here. And I talk about shower. I would kill people for them. And them themselves, sometimes, when they want a pair of shoes, a diaspora people, where they're foreign, they come big things and things like that. But them can't afford nothing. Because once you get the little strap-ons from the GLP, then a business again, they don't want to buy you. And that's sound cheap. You look on this one of shoes.
Of thousands of shoes. Her travels so luxurious, she once reportedly spent $2,000 on chewing gum during a layover in San Francisco.
$2,000 on chewing gum. $2,000 on chewing gum. And I buy Shabbat, I buy one like 4 people, you know. Yo, Shabbat in a stash. Where you spend that?
She even forced an airplane departing Rome to make a U-turn because she forgot to buy cheese.
Despite the outward opulence of her life, Imelda Marcos describes her 5 years in exile in terms that are at best bizarre.
As you will know, upon our arrival here in the United States, they deprive us of all of our, even our personal properties or valuables or things. I have really from the generosity of friends and relatives. In short, I have been living in welfare.
This is welfare?
The Marcos lifestyle, alleged corruption, and human rights violations now defining their legacy. But in the beginning, it did appear the power couple had good intentions.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what the dictator doing.
And that was the first time that the Philippines had the best improvement.
Marcos launched major infrastructure projects, making him very popular in parts of the country, such as his home province of Ilocos Norte.
Before, we did not have any electricity. Before, we did not have running water.
That's how Joe Lazo, a Philippines native and Honolulu businessman, became loyal to the president.
I really appreciate the president, and I give him due respect too for doing what he did.
But the reformer gave way to the strong man. Shrewd and ruthless, Marcos declared martial law in 1972. Closed newspapers, jailed political foes, turned parliament into a rubber stamp.
They do not appreciate Marcos because of martial law. But
I see this martial law thing, people. That are the extra slot, weapon, Andrew Wallace, I got draw for now. Because people got rebel. It a come to that time the right time, you know. Because he know that. That's why he have the police them in his pocket and the soldiers. He know him a look. And him have all these tank when buy already. The brother there said that's how dictator do. But Jamaica people take them eyes off of the prize. And also the opposition too. I must say. Yeah man. I must say.
To us people who are benefited with martial law, admire Marcos very much. We love Marcos. That's why I said I can debate anybody until now about martial law, any place, anywhere. And we were the only state that were celebrating martial law.
So, well, they consider him like a local boy, who made good, who cared for them, who became president, who did a lot for Ilocos Norte, where he was. So there's that kind of ethnic, maybe even feudal kind of relationship. It's like a master a slave kind of relationship.
Former University of Hawaii professor Dr. Belinda Aquino has written many publications about what she calls the plunder of the ages.
He ought to be brought to justice. He ought to be punished for his crimes. He was the head of a regime that had killed lots of Filipinos, made about 10,000 Filipinos disappear over a number of years.
During that era, even as millions of their people lived in poverty, the Marcoses enjoyed the good life. Land, skyscrapers, and stock literally around the world. A personal fortune estimated at $5 billion, nearly all of it siphoned from the Philippine treasury. U.S. presidents bankrolled Marcos because he was an ardent anti-communist who let the U.S. keep vital military bases in the Philippines.
In the midst of the Vietnam War, America was worried about the spread of communism in Asia.
As I stand on American soil and I see the doubts rising in Asia, I see another phenomenon that clears my mind. It is the phenomenon of an American nation led by a new leadership, earnestly exerting heroic efforts in order to stop this slide.
So in that spirit, let me offer a toast to the President, Mrs. Marcos, and to the people of the Philippines, and to the mutual respect, the dedication to peace and security in the world, and the shared values which unite us.
Your relationship as the first couple of the Philippines has been described as a partnership. Do you see it that way?
Well, I wouldn't say to that extent partnership because the presidency is always in the lead. The First Lady is only there as a helpmate and someone who is supportive to whatever is the need. I would describe it perhaps that he makes the house, and I hope to make it a home.
And she knew that without him, she couldn't have the luxury or the power. And sometimes I think it's quite unfair that they only sort of associate luxury and the finer things in life to her. And she actually did a lot of good things for the country, and that's the part that you never hear about. And so as much as she had the glamour aura, there were some things that was very close to her heart, and so you just never heard too much about that.
Well, frankly, I feel that Marcos should have stepped down sooner than now. I mean, it's pathetic that we had a demented president for so long.
When the economy he and his cronies were accused of plundering collapsed, and when Marcos loyalists were widely believed to have gunned down opposition leader Senator Benigno Aquino, the president's legitimacy was finished. In 1983, just minutes after returning to the Philippines from a 3-year exile, Aquino was assassinated at the Manila airport. He was the political rival of President Marcos and spent years in prison on charges of subversion. Aquino's death, for which the Marcos regime was blamed, ignited the people power revolution that led to Ferdinand's downfall. In 1986, violence in the streets, accusations of cheating, and the dodgy human rights record led Marcos to call for a snap election. To the surprise of many in the Philippines and around the world, he lost to the late Senator Aquino's widow, Cory, a defeat Marcos was not willing to accept.
The final hours of Ferdinand Marcos at the presidential palace in Manila. Thousands of loyalists cheering the failing dictator who was soon to be told by his American friends to cut and run. Scenes faithfully preserved by his personal camera crews, as they'd done countless times before. When Marcos fled, the palace tapes remained behind, an intriguing and potentially incriminating collection. Hundreds of hours of recorded history broadcast to glorify the deposed dictator. Hundreds more hours of private tapes, yet to be seen or analyzed by the new government. Extravagant parties on the presidential yacht, decadent by the standards of this Catholic nation. First Lady Imelda Marcos dancing last fall with then U.S. Consul General Vernon McCanich. The First Lady giving presents to the Catholic hierarchy at the palace last Christmas. The world saw Marcos welcome General Fabian Baer back to the fold last fall after the military was acquitted in the murder of opposition politician Benigno Aquino. But the palace withheld these pictures of the ex-president greeting the other alleged conspirators, one of whom has again been accused as the killer of the new president's husband. In many ways, the Aquino murder was the beginning of the end for Marcos, coupled with the economic disaster he and his cronies created. Disaster and despair measured by the growing number of people who find their daily bread in the garbage dumps. And that is why this party aboard the presidential yacht will interest the people too. A birthday party last September for daughter Irene, the last time Marcos was aboard the vessel. Ferdinand Jr., nicknamed Bong Bong, governor of the family's home province, is the man in the flashing bow tie. There was food and dancing and live music, including the revelers' version of a song that last year was a rallying cry to feed the poor. This version is memorable for its enthusiasm. Memorable, too, because the former First Family and their friends didn't realize how hungry their own people were. Hungry for political change at the very least.
What kept coming up was that they were betrayed.
Emmy Domingon worked in Hawaii as a TV reporter and was able to use her connections to get exclusive access to the Marcos camp.
They couldn't believe that America would come in, step into their country, and of course America's interest was all the bases, and that they would go to this, extreme to remove them. And so I'm not saying I felt sorry for them, but this was a very major development that they had to live with for 7 years. The closest thing that the president said to me was that he trusted the people around him, and looking back, he wished he didn't.
A nation took to the streets tonight to celebrate its victory. The dictator had fallen, the people conquered his palace. For a generation, it had been the forbidden city in the Philippines. Tonight, it was renamed Freedom Park. If you've ever wanted to know what a revolution looks like...
Yeah, man, it's what I talk about now. If Andrew Wallace not careful, this man lead the country in another part now. Because Jamaica people, things are going to happen, people are warned already. See man come out with the cross, I say something are going to happen. But me I tell that from a long time, it must be, not even just me I say that, if you go back to Marcus gave prophesy, But there's no way I'm going to have Jamaican people in a bondage by brute force. Because thief election them, COVID didn't do that. Trap the people them, and them accept it, and ride with it. But everything I come out in one, and come in one, and come in one. And just make a real, it's like our pressure gonna bust a pipe there, Because the man a rule with an iron fist. And the people rise up on him. And look what go on now. The police them in, Around sack the police. Do all kind of things. And I'm have to run gone. One thing I want you and holness. You think so well you so mighty and powerful. You want little brother, You want little brother, so you think so well all the little support idiot them will support you and you call them bloggers, you call them raggers. JLP bloggers and raggers. And that's all it is, because I'm getting little chump change to talk shit. I don't give a shit about the country, give a shit about kids them or whatever. One of those a bandwagon rider. Yeah man. That's all it is. But all you not get trapped in this, when you come, I start enough of but that's all. See what go on there, sir? All of the things better to keep up this shit here. You must get fall. And that happen. You know what I mean?
Feast your eyes on Manila tonight.
But the Americans were intervening in that whole situation. We'll give them asylum, and just so we will not have any the kind of violent situation there. After all, Americans were so proud about the Philippines having been a showcase of democracy in the Far East.
As troops loyal to Marcos filed out of the palace, they were embraced as converts by the gathering crowd.
And so what happened again, people? We are talking with the other day, You see what happened again? The same police them were going to protect. I will protect him when buy out. Them same going to turn on him, See that happen, sir? The same police them going to protect Marcos with an iron fist against the people of the Philippines, the poor people them, when I get no assistance. And them turn upon the rascal president and is with the people them. So I'm tell you something, Andrew. You can't go on like you're mighty, but you're broker than this, You're a little idiot. I tell you that now. When you pass your way and you feel like, well, you can't use that and disrespect people. Then just party I go down, brother. From a longer time. I mean, no, so well, it's not going to last forever. And all the fourth term you come with and you think, so well, the constitution will pass. Well, if Mark will do that, that's one thing of all until he get everything. You never leave out, you never do no no education no do no. And if you get everything what you want. And when you prepare to do so when they far from it. I don't want to know where. So Mark will make you get away. Because what you can, you can pass this constitution without the other side, There's one law you can do. So if the PMP party want to let you know about the work again, because that will be really serious. But just forget about the fourth term and all the shit we want to deal with. Because something will come. Me talk it already, say, look, I go to 5 years. About 3 years' time, unless something will happen. Yeah, man, something will happen. You have to step down, whether you want to or not, but you have to this time, and believe you me. And the next thing will come behind it. It's the uprising. Yeah, it's the uprising. Without a shadow of a doubt. Sound you bang. I might bang that, but not the real bang. So we just call that our bang. So we blood clot, shoot, we sound it, you know what I mean? So we go back on this again. The police and rascal turn on him.
There was pandemonium as word spread that the dictator was gone. There was bloodshed, very little bloodshed. The day that started with two presidents and two sides ended with a coming together that mingled prayer and patriotism, which tonight were the same thing. They waved their flags, they kissed their flags. The Virgin Mary was everywhere. They tore down the barbed wires surrounding the palace and fashioned it into crowns of thorns. The stately portraits of the old regime were replaced late tonight by Hollywood.
I say Jamaica sleep, man. It's not the Jamaica who me grew up in and who me know. No, stop. The boy never rascal. No, man. So you see, we have to take a leaf for them people about. Yeah, man. They have enough. And them tap the government. They have to run in exile. Right? But as they say, him can go exile in America. But Andrew, unless you can't go there, so. And that's why you actually so. Yeah, I'm tell you something. Your days are going to be tight, Because a lot of wickedness will do, I can tell you that, You come and you repent already, But may I tell you, wicked rascal thing you do. You're going to repent, you repent from social media. You're going to repent on your bed. But I want people rascal record that too. People not going to want to record that and put it out, Yeah, that is it, You come and get send me repent already. We do to the Jamaican people. There are sins. You're going to play that. But him, when him defend him dead, when we're going to really talk, the real things, because I'm not talk, when come out from social media and talk other day, him going to say, oh, we sin against the people, we do this against the people, but him not talk personally with how much people him put to sleep, him get rid of. Him not talk about the wickedest thing that, you're nothing. This brother's a demon. Without no doubt. I wouldn't like when we say that. Run away.
The New Philippines, starring Corazon Aquino, who tonight spoke with the voice of her nation.
We are fine.
Because that's how dictators do. Much blood man Marcos, much people responsible for them demise. Him personally order it. That's what dictator do. Get rid of people who, in a little pocket of people who open their mouth and talk about it. Them get demise. And the same thing Andrew Wallace is trying to do. And somebody tell him to go support his mother, which is a Jamaican slang. Them call PJ Batman this and that and Chuchiman Rete. Him never call Portia Wall Rete the role them. Them people never said nobody for nobody, This man from man said something about him. So that a message dictator start with him long time. But people now look on that. Jamaica people just soft. Soft your fuck. Yeah. They must have dictate the country. You're free, it's freedom of speech. Once you don't threaten nobody, life. Nobody police is supposed to come and look for you. Not Jamaica, especially. Nah, man, something like, especially not Jamaica, you know.
That body I would find that me pussy clap.
People really, what I tell you now, what if people really see what me I say? For a long time I see this, you know. People that talk about him going a dictatorship. I'm a dictator a long time. I'm a dictator country from a long time. From you see them things start to happen. Somebody go say something about it. They want people to say something about Boris Johnson. All the British Prime Minister them. Live and hide them face. They don't want to find them, can't find them easy same way. Scotland yard is there. But they can't do it. That's freedom of speech. Once them say, well then, yo, threaten somebody's life, like, that's a different thing. Nobody never threaten Andrew life. If you say Ray, go do that with your mother, Ray, and Lele. That is a Jamaican slang. And you know, some people are going to see you when they're angry. But him send for a slot, him police to them. Find them so quick. All of them dead. And come to apologize in the public. And yet, people are kill people, you can't find the killer them. So I don't know what go on. But anyway, we could listen back what go on what Marcus side. The former tyrant dictator in the Philippines. Yeah, man.
Free, and we can be truly proud of the unprecedented way we achieved our freedom, with courage and with determination, and most important, in peace.
It's to the credit of Filipinos to have pulled that revolution on a 4-day timeline, which is considered the shortest revolution in history.
This is about as happy as people can get. This was the revolution that smiled.
I don't think we really knew that we're going to end up here someday. At least I did. In fact, it was rather chilling for me to think that I knew this person as president, and now he was stripped off of everything and living with us in Hawaii.
For anti-Marcos forces, developments in the Philippines appear to bring them one step closer to victory. They say that after 20 years, they are no longer the underdog.
We're not the opposition in Hawaii, but very soon we're going to be representing the establishment, the Philippine establishment, because things are changing so fast.
The revolution led to confusion here in Honolulu, as the pictures of Ferdinand and Imelda still hung at the Philippine Consul General, air travel was disrupted, and families huddled around the TV set on edge.
If this were a newspaper picture, the caption might read, Imelda and Ferdinand in happier days. They were here in Hawaii, and it was 1 year before the assassination of Benigno Aquino. During their official visits here, local Filipinos have been bussed into events as a show of support. About 3/4 of island Filipinos have ties to Marcos's home province of Ilocos. There has been absolutely no word from Philippine or American or local officials that Marcos has made contingency plans to come here. But speculation is rampant here that Honolulu would be his first choice as a new home.
Because he will feel at home here because there's a lot of Ilocanos, a lot of Filipinos here in proportion with the population in the United States.
But then when they were driven out of the palace, Reagan promised them, if they come to Hawaii, they will live in heaven. So when they arrived in Honolulu, Reagan did not do anything. And so Mrs. Marcos, every time we had meeting with Mrs. Marcos, President Reagan was telling us we will live in Honolulu in heaven, but we are living in hell.
When Ferdinand Marcos stepped off the plane at Hickam Air Force Base, he was a man without a country, cast adrift in a hostile world, desperately searching for an outstretched hand after fleeing a country he once ruled with an iron fist.
Marcos fled to Hawaii with his family and friends, landing on Oahu in February of 1986.
Only news people and security personnel waited for Marcos and his party this morning at Hickam Air Force Base. Nothing like the throngs of cheering supporters that have greeted the Filipino leader in his previous visits here. The 89 people traveling in the Marcos party made the trip from Guam in an Air Force C-141 that touched down just after 11 this morning. The official greeting party was small. Governor and Mrs. Ariyoshi and Commander of the Pacific Air Forces, General Robert Baisley, and his wife. A frail-looking Marcos needed some help deplaning, but once off, the 68-year-old president in exile was able to walk slowly by himself. There was a warm greeting between the Ariyoshis and the Marcoses, the welcome complete with leis. Later, Ariyoshi told reporters he found Marcos to be in good spirits, relaxed and hoping to get some rest here. He did not think Marcos was depressed or bitter.
I didn't get that from him. I didn't get the feeling that he felt bad about having to leave the country and being almost stripped from the presidency. I think he feels that he was happy that things happened without any real bloodshed. He was concerned about Filipinos being turned against Filipinos and lots of bloodshed, and he did not want to see that happen.
He said the Marcoses left in haste.
The son, for example, pointed out that he didn't have very much the clothing, and one of the daughters indicated to me that that was the only clean clothes that they had.
And they got obviously permission to come here, but it's a new place for them.
Jim McCoy was a local reporter assigned to the Marcos beat.
There was a number of people that supported them here, and there was a number of people that opposed them here. So it was a big story, for weeks and months.
My beloved countrymen, I'm now in Hickam Air Force Base.
With that, Ferdinand Marcos, his wife Imelda at his side, read what he described as a letter to the Filipino people.
Hey, look at the wife, how she look nervous. As a woman who come with a rascal wardrobe, bigger than 3 bedroom, her shoes. Shoes that wear it. Yeah, the wardrobe bigger than a when the poor people are out there, so you say, they're going to shut her about a concern. Look on her face. It's like she get a shell shock. Marcos, one of them confused.
It contained Marcos's version of his downfall. He never conceded losing control of the country he ruled for 20 years.
This situation came to a point that although I had control of superior military power and several opportunities to employ this military power, the employment of such an overwhelming force, no matter how legitimate, would have resulted in the bloody carnage among innocent civilians.
We got the word at some point during the day that they're definitely staying in Hickam that night. So that's when I decided to make a call. I had a very good source in federal law enforcement who I presume was there, and he was there. And that's where I said, anything interesting happened? And he told me about the jewelry in the Pampers boxes. Now, I remember calling the newsroom and saying, do we have video of Pampers boxes coming off the plane?
It was reported today that Marcos and his group arrived in Honolulu carrying large amounts of cash, gold, and valuables, and that more items, including land titles and stocks, arrived today from the Philippines.
But we heard that President Reagan was not happy about, the Pampers and the jewelry in the Pampers boxes, because it was it was about, their home country, but they're bringing all the loot with them,
Yeah, I lose nothing, so dictator still.
Part of it too. A group that's been known for months as the
That's what I'm going to want to do too. I know I lose nothing,
concerned Filipino Americans in Hawaii. Some of their leaders gathered to hear Marcos's comments today. They didn't like what they heard. They called it a charade.
We had sort of hoped that he would have the wisdom to move on to another place where his presence would be less divisive.
Had questions been allowed, Marcos would surely have been asked about the personal belongings he brought to Hawaii. Some reports indicate Marcos may have with him as much as $4 million in various assets, which coalition members think he may use for political maneuvering.
So you can assume that he has the ability and the resources to bankroll a movement, that would probably undermine the Aquino government.
By the time they were exiled, the Marcoses were estimated to have amassed assets worth anywhere between $5 to $10 billion. They are now famous for holding the Guinness World Record for the greatest robbery of a government.
10 million US dollar.
And that's led to a decades-long legal battle
We are
for
talking about
Honolulu attorney
1960.
Terry Broder, who's still trying to recover the
Right.
money.
I told my husband, can't we sue him, for human rights abuses? And my husband was a law professor of international law, and this was really his field. And he said, yeah, we can. And so we decided that we would do a case if there was a plaintiff that was interested. So we actually talked to Belinda Aquino about it.
Aquino informed government officials in Manila about the money and goods allegedly brought here by Marcos. She says the head of the Philippine Commission for Good Government immediately hired a Honolulu attorney to try to impound the goods. Belinda Aquino, in turn, was named presidential designate to represent the Commission on Good Government here in Hawaii.
To look into the hidden wealth or investments abroad made by former associates of Mr. Marcos, as well as Mr. Marcos himself in the United States, of which there is ample documentation.
People power becomes panic at the palace gate. A mad rush to get in and see what Ferdinand and Imelda Marcos left behind. Today was the day of the poor. Manila's slum dwellers summoned by President Corazon Aquino to see the extravagant lifestyle of the palace. Aquino has refused to live there.
It is really sad that the previous occupants neglected the needs of the Filipino people.
Filipinos who used to be kept blocks from the Marcoses' private unit.
That the previous occupants neglected the needs.
Aquino has refused to live there.
It is really sad that the previous occupants neglected the needs of the Filipino people.
Filipinos who used to be kept blocks from the Marcoses' private universe got a 20-minute kaleidoscope of unimaginable luxury.
Wow!
Including the former First Lady's 10-foot wide bed.
That's why a lot of people here.
You see, after I get toppled and after runway now, the people them who live in the slum come there and can't believe what them see, how them people are live. True dictatorship now. And the same thing with holness. If you're going to feel house up at Beverly Hills and see things there, we're not supposed to be there neither. The police now raid it. Them man out to be raid and put it out publicly. We're not really surprised. We're not really surprised what found and what's be seen there. People are look on them things there. That's what dictators. Because my people are coming in the slum now, they get a chance together in the palace. We look what go on, all them people that live. And I saw them little people at Jamaica that go on and talk about shower and fucking and take some little monkey money to keep them people there, prop them up. And all them live. And go see all them live. And you go ask yourself this question. It was worth it to really support these people? And the big question is going to be, no. Yeah. Well, that's why Marcos Garvey said again, we're not going to sell to back against the wall. That's one part of the saga. Yeah, man. I don't really realize what going on.
In the Philippines are starving.
Fantastic.
Ray Reblora and his wife Sally often go to bed hungry, trying to live on their $17 a week income. Their first baby is due any day. Their palace, homemade out of scrap, is smaller than Imelda Marcos' bed. As far as Ray is concerned, the Marcoses belong in jail.
He can come back here in the Philippines to face what he do to the people of the Philippines.
Ray and Sally's wardrobe consists of a few extra shirts. They were stunned by Imelda's storeroom of 2,700 pairs of shoes and hundreds of designer gowns. The anger is compelling. So many people were trying to get in today that children were in danger of being crushed. The government said that from now on, passes will be issued to hold down the number of daily visitors to the bitter exhibit of Marcos memorabilia.
Well, let me tell you one story, and maybe it'll give you a good idea of how we were able to try to chase down money.
The 1899 artwork by French Impressionist Claude Monet is at the center of one of those fights to find the funds.
On the day that the Marcoses were overthrown in the Philippines, somebody came with a U-Haul to the apartment up in the Upper East Side or Upper West Side of New York City, and supposedly all the paintings that were in there were loaded in the U-Haul and taken away. Nobody had ever seen them again or knew where they went or what happened to them.
Then, the Monet painting suddenly surfaced. It was discovered that Vilma Bautista, a confidant and personal secretary of Imelda Marcos, sold the painting. She got into trouble with the law for not paying taxes on the deal.
She then claimed that Imelda Marcos had given her that painting. Of course, she must have been quite an excellent secretary if she got a $40 million gift. So we immediately got involved in the whole dispute going on about who it belonged to and who it didn't belong to. So in that particular situation, the buyer of the Monet painting settled with us.
Then there was the jewelry, which is still to this date a point of contention.
It's a wonderful collection. It has a huge variety of pieces. There are some truly exceptional items in this collection.
The jewels discovered in those now infamous Pampers boxes has become known as the Hawaii Collection. Containing diamonds, tiaras, bracelets, and gemstone necklaces, it is worth millions. The collection has been locked up in a bank vault for decades, but that's about to change. After years of legal debate, the Philippines government now plans to auction off the collection in an attempt to reclaim the ill-gotten gains. Current President Rodrigo Duterte, who was reportedly allied with the Marcoses, okayed the sale in 2019. He had canceled the initial auction after taking office back in 2016.
I was no Marie Antoinette. I was not born to nobility.
The Marcos family denies any wrongdoing when it comes to the Treasury's theft. But if they didn't take it, where did the money go? And how did they get so rich? Imelda has struggled with that question in many interviews.
If some pieces of land you would buy for 1 peso, today it's 2,000 pesos. So even that, things.
Yes, so the dictator work too. Them can't answer where them get the money from, And you shall come now buy piece of land and things like that. Same thing like what Andrew Wallace said. Him start with 2 taxis. And now he's a billionaire. Which tax? This is what I shall show. So, oh, this player look on them documentary and him go down the same road. Right? She failed to answer the question on many occasions. I was coming, oh, you buy a piece of land and rent it. Lie! Same thing Andrew Wallace come up with the other day. About 2 taxis. 2 old taxis. If him can be a billionaire with a 2 taxis. So what happened to the man who run taxi from all before Saltfish or stop? So when the rat started, you have to tell something, But everything I play, so I play, see, I play back now. And have a link to what I say, right? Because that's how dictator work. Social dictator work. Good with them wife as well, Them wife are a part of it. When you want now, the difference with Andrew Wallace and Juliet. To the relationship, weak, strong. It a hang by a thread. They must do it because public, right? But we know it's not close, far from close. It's way apart. So That's the missing link between Andrew Wallace as a dictator and Juliet and Marcus. And what's his name again? Anyway, Marcus and his wife. Because they was close. She knew everything was going on from day one. Them set out to do that, to rob the country. And many people them suffer. They can come out and talk, just like Andrew, talk good things, promise good things, and people believe in him. And then once them brought him in chain course, people them suffer like a dog. Pan dump, a survivor pan dump. Look at the people them, how them live. It's shock what them have. So when them go in at the palace now, when them run gone and see how them people live. I don't know, they never go near the palace, you know. And that's how it go. Let me tell you something, man. That's how dictator work.
Like those appreciate.
So dictator work.
25 years ago, I bought a piece of land worth 30 pesos. Now
Right.
it is 3,000 pesos. 21 years ago, 22 years ago, I bought a piece of land.
What?
50,000 500 pesos. You know, if you have good investment, things like that work more, but people do not think
That carry too fucking lie, man. Go away.
Appreciate.
Imelda has made claims that the bulk of her husband's fortune originated from an elusive buried treasure known as Yamashita's gold, but the loot's existence has been dismissed by many experts. Cut off from their deep pockets and stuck in a diplomatic limbo, back in 1986, the Marcoses struggled to find a place to call home in Hawaii.
The former Philippine president arrived at 5577 Kalani Anaoli Highway around 8:30 last night. It was the first time Marcos had left Hickam Air Force Base since he and a party of about 90 arrived here from Manila 27 days ago. Last night's move was made with the assistance of Secret Service agents, U.S. Air Force personnel, and plainclothes officers of the Honolulu Police Department. And it didn't take very long for the first protesters to arrive. Honolulu attorney Eric Seitz and a friend showed up with protest signs less than an hour after the Marcoses moved in.
Frankly, I've always been offended by the United States support for Marcos, but I'm even more offended by the fact that he's here in Niu Valley, or that he isn't being sent back to the Philippines to face the legitimate feelings of the Filipino people, who I think would hang him if he were sent back.
Marcos moves into my neighborhood, something clicked, and I said, that's too much, that's it, you know, I gotta come out with my sign, I gotta show everybody I oppose it, you know, he's a murderer, he's a dictator, he's a fascist, what can you say?
Secret Service? Hey, cut it out, I'm going with you.
Seitz was detained briefly by the Secret Service because his protest sign included an indirect threat. He was taken into the house and questioned, but later released without charges. It's not certain how long Ferdinand and Imelda planned to live in the 4-bedroom beachfront house, but they were clearly running out of time at Hickam Air Force Base. They had been promised security and housing for up to a month. They're on their own now in a rented home, but the security remains in place. Efforts to find the Marcoses a safe haven in another country have so far been unsuccessful.
Not everyone saw the Marcos regime as an evil dictatorship. In an attempt to capitalize on that support, the couple began to make some rare but dramatic appearances around Honolulu.
They have a name for themselves, these people who carpooled and rode buses and walked to a street corner in Old Kalihi, where the president of the group Friends of Marcos has a travel agency. They call themselves the Silent Majority, Ilocanos with ties to Marcos's home province in Ilocos Norte, transplanted Filipinos who say they have until now quietly borne the indignities of exaggerated and false reporting about their hero.
Oh yeah, they always take time. They will not leave until the people leaves. Oh yeah, because this is the first time that the Filipino people see them. And of course, they like to see them, and of course, they like Mrs. Marcos and President Marcos would like to see them too.
Most media really in Hawaii are all for Aquino, pro-Aquinos, not all for Marcos at all.
They want to
sure that's a president. I mean, who doesn't? President Reagan lives in the White House.
Nobody. How much you poison our mind, we are still loyal to him. He's the best president the Philippines has ever had.
It was a crowd that Imelda Marcos knew would be more than receptive. She wore the same simple dress that she wore when she and her husband faced the cameras for a news conference at Hickam. And she offered herself for press the flesh populism. The crowd surged forward to envelop her in support, to comfort her. And when the crowd pressed too close for comfort, supporters moved to protect her, targeting the big TV news cameras first.
Well, I think for her it was maybe a level of comfort that she can amass this kind of reaction outside of her own country. So, you know, I mean, all you're doing is playing it on a smaller stage, but it's the same routine. And she was always genuinely very open to her people.
She was helped onto an old table and the crowd saluted her. She was not there to talk with reporters, but Newsroom 9 got in a couple of quick questions in the highly charged atmosphere.
Marcos, could you tell me how you feel to be in this country? Homesick.
Do you have anything to say to Filipinos here who feel not as happy as these Filipinos?
I and do not intend to return to the Philippines unless I am needed there. If my return will start a civil war, the answer is no.
So what would it take for you to go back to the Philippines?
What do you think? It would be a call by the people themselves. I don't intend to go there voluntarily offering my services and insisting that I be president.
But it never happened. I mean, you know, there was never a moment, there was never a time when we thought he, you know.
I don't intend to go there.
So don't look like Dr. Chang or Ace Chang. Same type of people, you know. Yeah, man. Let's take a look at him. If you remind me of Ace Chang.
Entirely offering my services and insisting that I be president.
But it never happened. I mean, you know, there was never a moment, there was never a time when we thought he, you know, he was actually going to leave. I mean, you know, or be allowed to go back to the Philippines.
After many attempts to move to another country failed, the Marcoses remained in Hawaii until Ferdinand's death in 1989 at the age of 72.
Imelda Marcos was wrapping up an interview yesterday when she got the call. There was another crisis. Her husband's heart had stopped. Imelda went rushing to St. Francis Hospital.
So much to be done in all fronts, for country, for your home, for your needs, for your health.
By the time she got to St. Francis, Ferdinand Marcos was on an internal pacemaker. His condition seemed to stabilize, raising the possibility that he would once again rally. But as the evening wore on, hope began to dim. Doctors said kidney and lung failure and a widespread infection added to the cardiac arrest that led to Marcos's death. That came shortly after the arrival from California of Marcos's son, Ferdinand Jr., who's known as Bong Bong.
When Bong Bong arrived, I think he felt that his son was there, so he opened his eyes. And after opening his eyes, that was it. His accomplishments are beyond imagination. As I said, I am very sure every Filipino, they might not realize it now, but I'm very sure every Filipino will say that President Marcos was the greatest president, and history will prove this.
And, you know, she carried herself, you know, I guess like the way Jackie Kennedy did after the president died, you know, American president Kennedy died, you know. She just held her level to that standard, and more so after he died. You can imagine what was going through her mind and her heart, but she now sort of felt like this is her time to kind of speak for him or to take his place, and she was, you know, she did that.
The president will never leave my heart and will never die as far as I'm concerned. He will always be there. In fact, he will be all the time there. In spirit, of course. But when you have become so intimately involved with another human being, there can never be a separation again.
Good afternoon, it's 12:58. You're on KISS AM Radio. It is true, and a lot of people have been in shock about what has happened over the last 8 to 10 hours.
This radio station is the only one here that caters to Filipinos, and today its switchboards lit up. Some people were angry that the flags at the Philippine consulate will not be flown at half-staff.
Since President Marcos was the sixth president, and Aquino was only a senator, and they did that to Aquino, why can't they do that to ex-President Marcos?
Some say his body should be allowed home.
Can we do something about it, or we cannot do nothing? Here in Hawaii, we cannot do anything about it.
Following his death, President Corazon Aquino would not allow entry of Marcos's remains into the Philippines.
I have always considered only one thing, his wish. The wish of every Filipino to bury him and let rest in peace in his.
So much recently was made available for viewing as a deluge of reporters was allowed into the Marcos home. Leading the way, Imelda Marcos, still fighting for her husband's right to return to the Philippines.
How can you find this man dangerous to security when he is now resting in peace forever?
Imelda Marcos now stands alone against criminal charges for allegedly looting her country of billions. She will vindicate herself, she says, once she resolves the long-standing issue of whether Marcos's body can return to his homeland.
This is so cruel, so inhuman, and so immoral.
His rule changed our country beyond recognition. In what ways he changed it, I leave to others and to history to describe.
But when I came to Manila, I had an interview with President Aquino. And I never forget this. I said, you know, I mean, I can't remember everything, but I remember, you know, how can you not allow him to come back? I mean, if he's already deceased, what's the big deal? You know, that was my question. And she was very strong and said, basically, dead or alive, if he returns, it will create upheaval in our country. And I have to be aware of that. And I went, oh, okay. You know, because that's how strong.
I say, well, I don't know, but one time I say, well, you have two minds on that, you know. So, well, all right, he's born in the country, although he's a tyrant, he steal billions from the country, he make people suffer and suffer in the country. So I say, well then, all right, he's born there, at least, if he come back to him, homeland, and then dead now. So, but you know what? We go back and say, nah, man. He not really touch back on the rascal side because he wasn't a Filipinian. I ain't supposed to have no lenience upon him at all. So I just say, well, then him, he then bury, push what him there. Or, you know, they don't can burn the body and carry the ashes to go back to the Philippines. That to me is the most suitable. Because when you wicked, that's where the Bible says what happened to you, you know. you burn in hell. So all the wickedness way that do, you see it turn to ashes now. And that I might take on it. Simple as that. So all this fight and fight to bring him back, body back in the Philippines. You know how much money that cost again? So I don't agree with it. No, sir, I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that part. I don't agree with that part. When people wicked, you know, because you're wicked against your own people, them. And then you trick them and say you love them. And then put you where you is. You want people to serve you now. It don't work like that. Comparance are the same thing up in Jamaica. But it can't really work like that. No way at all. Very, very sad and tragic. But you know, our next part that is to play with his son. I was looking at the latest son picture, but he come back now. And he is the president of the Philippines, so we are talking about that. We'll match that with the Andrew Wallace's two sons. We all hard to see them. Because something are boiling. Something boiling. I mean, I say, when we do the next piece of it again, come. This is part one, you know. So his son, a little son we have there, little rascal boy about 5 years old. I don't have a first son. And him grow up and now him is a president in back in the Philippines. So I'm going to try to show you how people might work. Flip flop and flap flip. Right? So those are things that I like to really tackle, you know. Well, anyway, take a little break and come back. Back in a sec.
March, march, march.
you born. Walkie, walkie, walkie woman, you born sexy. You sexy from your born. Spin your roll, make them see the bomber. I know dumb. Walkie, walkie, walkie woman. Woman, you sexy from your born. Walkie, walkie, walkie woman. Me like how you walk. You just a walkie, walkie, walkie. And a talkie, talkie up. You walk it up, cock it up, fling it up, ice it up. The thing pretty and buffy, buffy, buffy. Walkie, walkie, walkie woman. You know sucky, sucky, sucky. You like when me shooby, shooby, shooby up. Walkie, walkie, walkie woman. Me like when you sweaty, sweaty, sweaty and wetty, wetty, wetty. Just like when rain a fall over your body like a raindrops. Walkie, walkie, walkie woman. Me like when you wake up and you put on your makeup. Then you say you want to brace up. Not tears up, make me feel up, feel up. Then we kiss up, and the lips. That and the split up, split up. Yo, walkie, walkie, walkie woman.